Oh, Tom, how are you?
I'm good, mate. How are you, Bob?
Yeah, very good, thanks, mate. Thank you for letting me choose this week's topic.
Sure, of course. Sounds a cracker.
Now, I thought we'd talk about loyalty in the mobile phone space.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to it. I've been thinking about nothing else all weekend other than the football, obviously.
Well, you've got to remember, the football was great, but you've got to remember that we are the generation that lived through the birth of mobile phones.
Indeed.
We've come
Yeah,
through, we've come through a lot of changes. We've got all the history and all the battle scars.
exactly. We are old and we can remember pre-mobile.
So where can we take loyalty to the mobile phones?
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting space, isn't it? And I'm not going to sit here or stand here and say that the mobile phone industry is lacking in any way. There's some really, really good programs out there.
Hmm.
But it's also interesting to just start to have a think about where we could innovate. So, yeah, tell me, what are your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts are, if you go back 20 years ago, there was plenty of innovation. Yeah. So in the early 2000s, you had Orange Wednesdays, which was revolutionary at the time, where you got 2 for 1 tickets on a Wednesday to go to the cinema and watch any film you like. And then you got Priority, where you could get early access to gigs and tickets and all that kind of stuff. And I actually changed from, I think it was Vodafone at the time to get Priority. And Priority was really good. Like, every
Yeah,
time I went and got tickets, I got those tickets early.
yeah,
But the difference is, with they've got 98% saturation of people who've got mobile phones, whereas back then they only had about 40% of people that had
yeah, that's it.
saturation.
I mean, yeah, like literally everyone's got a mobile phone now. But you did,
Yes,
O2 is good because it did make you feel exclusive. The
it
fact that
did.
you could get these things.
It did, but unfortunately, there's like many more millions now that are subscribed.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you can't. First come first serve is more first come first serve than it ever been.
yeah, agreed. And I think that's a problem for them, isn't it? Because there's not enough to go round. Yeah, so I like that methodology. I mean, Amex is great because
Mm.
you can get those exclusive deals. My daughter went this weekend to see Pitbull in Hyde Park, and
Hmm.
because of my Amex card, I was able to get her into the Golden Circle. I mean, you pay for it, but you are able to get that exclusivity, and I think that works for mobile phones. But it's so tough now because, as you quite rightly say, 98% of the world's got one.
Okay, so we've talked about the background, we talked about loyalty, but there has been a lack of kind of promotional innovation and or loyalty innovation. And if you take a brand like Very Me, which was always designed at the very beginning to be very personalised, and hence why it's called Very Me, um, it's good, but it's kind of generic. So if I was Vodafone, I'd probably be looking at ways in which I could own a particular reward category like travel, and really music, and
Mm,
really push that out as a big incentive because those are two passion points that appeal to all ages and all demographics. So if you were to invest the same sort of money as you invested in a Orange Wednesdays or a Priority, and you went big on travel or you went big on music, it would be really easy to do. There'd be loads of content, appeal to everyone, and the value equation would be great, right? Because the savings you make on travel would more than compensate for the average SIM price you're paying.
yeah, yeah, agreed. It's an interesting one, isn't it? The problem with going for one specific vehicle is
Mm.
it's not appropriate for everyone. But I think what you'd need to do is have three or four vehicles. So maybe you could go with fashion, sport, music, culture,
Hmm.
sort of own those sectors, and then use your huge database to attract the brands in those spaces. You know, do a tie up with C tickets on music, but do a
Mm.
tie up with football, Premier League on sport, and maybe it's some way like that. And I think that those partnerships kind of exist, but that's what you're driving at, right? Making it personal for
Yeah,
people.
that's what I'm driving at. And the other thing is communication. The other thing that I always, can't get my head around is like some of these guys have got like 40 million members, right? Some of these mobile phone providers. Now that's an audience. So I remember, 15 years ago, pitching to Vodafone that they should have their own radio station,
Mm,
and push their content and their promotions through their own radio station. And today, it doesn't have to be a radio station, it could be a weekly podcast. So instead
yeah,
of me getting, because I'm with Vodafone now, instead of me getting these very mean texts once a week, wouldn't it be great if they had a podcast as well where they announced the winners and they talked about all the exciting things that were coming up? Um, and okay, not all of the 40 million base would activate it, but even if 10% activated it,
mm,
right, that's a big number. And the other thing is, if you've got an audience like that, if you control them through a vehicle, be it a podcast or be it an actual radio kind of station campaign thing, um, then you can start to get partners involved and reduce the costs of the rewards by either giving them media exposure or charging them for media exposure.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, create your own retail media experience and
Yeah.
charge brands to be a part of it.
So, what are your thoughts, Tom?
Yeah, I've gone a different way actually. So I thought about. I mean, I'm old school, as you say. We're old. We remember the days when the mobile networks used to pay quite a lot of money to have your phone in there, and if you didn't renew after 2 years, you kept paying that amount. I know they got their wrist slapped for that and they stopped doing it, but I think that for me that renewal point is quite dangerous for a brand. Like when I know that I've spent 2 years, I've paid off this particular phone, I'm looking round, and that's obviously the opposite of loyalty. So I thought, came at it from that angle, and I had two things I think that I thought were quite interesting. Is one is like a loyalty cashback solution where every year that you stay, or every contract that you stay, every contract you renew, you get 1% discount for the following year, up to a value of 20%. So if you stayed with the brand for 20 years, you would be sitting on a 20% discount. And this kind of aligns with a kind of no claims bonus in your car insurance. And it just creates that barrier to leaving. It's a real specific value message, and you feel like you're being rewarded for your loyalty. You know, you don't want to move away because you're going to lose that discount. And that discount carries across whatever solution you have, even if you downgrade your phone or even if you take less services or whatever. As long as you stay with the brand, you keep that discount. And the second thing I thought of was, could a brand have a really useful face-to-face or by telephone, but not AI, not a chatbot, an actual person who acts as a kind of concierge at the point that you're about to renew? So like a renewal concierge where they will get in touch with you, give you options, make sure your contract is appropriate for your needs, and make sure that you renew with that business, maybe even guaranteeing the price if you have taken the time to shop around. So those were my two kind of ideas for loyalty, which I don't think we necessarily see out there. In fact, I think that the incentives are for new people, and actually maybe we should be rewarding the people that stay, not the people that flip-flop.
And would you see those two ideas running concurrently with the kind of things they do already, or would you get rid of all that sort of stuff?
Yeah, well, I think, well, yeah, I mean, generally, yes, I would see them working with whatever activities they've got going on. I think that some of the brands could update some of the things that they're doing. I think there's quite a lot of brands out there that just talk about cost, and that's valid. People, you know, it's an intangible benefit. People want to reduce the cost of that as much as they can. But for the brands that are a bit more premium, I think there's more they can do. But something aligned to this would sit alongside whatever else. Like if, to your point about exclusivity and reaching people's touch points, that's good, and that could work alongside what I've proposed. So actually, just before we finish this podcast, I had one other idea, and that was all around sustainability. And, well, sustainability and responsibility by the business. I mean, we're getting a lot of noise now in the press about access to social media. Here in the UK, they're now talking about some legislation like they've got in Australia, where it's only for 16s and over, or 17s and over, rather. And we're also getting a lot of conversation in the press about AI and how social media and these things burn lots of water and lots of energy, and is it bad for the planet and all those sorts of things. So I actually started to think about, could a mobile brand create a loyalty incentive all around responsibility and social care? So this could be that a phone that doesn't allow you on social media or limits your ability to use that, and also your ability to use AI is limited to a certain amount time a day, or even it lets you use it, but it then reports back your carbon footprint, the amount of usage that you've had of social media and AI usage. So I think there may be something there. I mean, it's a bit obtrusive, But I wonder if parents of teenagers and 20s would
Well,
actually quite
it's
like
not
it.
just it's not just parents of teenagers and kids. I mean, I've seen loads of stuff on social media now where you've got young people that if they go to talks about AI, they just get really annoyed about it.
Yeah,
You know, they're not a segment that really likes it at all.
I agree. And yeah, and they're worried about it. They're concerned about the environment. You know, it's a world they're going to have to live in, not us.
For
So
sure, for sure.
they are going to be alert to it. And I just wonder if the mobile brands out there could lean into that a little bit, and that might actually drive loyalty.
Sounds like a great idea.
Yeah. Well, if there's anyone from Voda or Orange or whoever EE out there listening, you're welcome. You can have that idea for free.
But you can't have the travel one for free.